You're responsible for your kids. One of your biggest jobs is to form them so that one day they can go home to heaven and be there with you. You are responsible for them. You're responsible for them even when they leave your home. It's just the way you do it changes. Becomes much more a ministry of prayer after they're gone. But you're responsible. And sometimes you have to speak. You're responsible for the people in your family, your relatives. You're responsible. You are your brother and sister's keeper. You're responsible for the people you work with. You're responsible. Different levels of responsibility depending on how they move out from me. There's no live and let live in the gospel. There's no, it's not hurting me in the gospel. Doesn't exist. It's not in his vocabulary. Just the opposite. You are responsible for one another. We all are. Not easy to do. What keeps us from acting? I think it's fear. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm not going to call his sin to him. He might tell me 3 of mine. You know? Or, well, if I say anything, I know what he's going to answer. Or, what will they think of me? They won't like me anymore if I do that. Well, I've tried 10 times and it doesn't work. Try 11 with love. Fear. They'll never speak to me again. It'll cause a fight. You know, I think a lot of it is how we do these things. And I think that's another part of this that Jesus teaches us. Not only are we responsible for one another, but we're supposed to do it with love. Part of our problem is we come at one another with judgmentalism and condemnation and anger and hurt and all these things that have no part in this. We say something to one another because we love one another. And we do it in loving invitation. Jesus did it often. The most exasperated thing he does with the people who exasperated him the most in the Gospels, who were the Pharisees, the most he does is call them hypocrites and a brood of snakes. That's about as bad as it gets. It's all done in love. It's done in concern. It's done in invitation. The rich young man comes and says, what do I do? Hey, you know, keep the commandments. Did it all my life. There's more. Does Jesus scold him? Does Jesus get angry with him? Is Jesus upset with him? No. He looks at him and he says, oh, I know what your problem is, buddy. You have too much stuff. Give it all away and come and follow me. It's invitation. He's always inviting people to more life. Even in his correction of them, he's inviting them to fuller and more life. It's what he expects of us. To tell the truth to one another in love. Oh. It's much easier to blow a gasket, I suppose, than it is to tell the truth in love. Even if we don't want to hear it, even if the other person doesn't want to hear it, makes no difference. I'm held responsible It's what he tells us in the scriptures today. Why do we tell the truth in love to one another? And why are we responsible for one another? Because it's the way he treats us. He always is speaking the truth to us in love. He does it again and again and again. And then he does that because he loves us. And then he expects us to turn around and do the same thing with one another. My, how blessed we really are. And how challenged we really are. The truth in love. The truth with love.